guys and girls, it's Jerningham here. The coronavirus numbers in the UK have gone bad today, very bad. The Department of Health future 241 COVID-19 related deaths today, leaving it at 21,331 new positive cases of the UK being recorded in the UK. Post of lockdown, Prime Minister Boris Johnson holding a new conference, it says here, but I've had to pause the screen and show you how bad it is in the UK, and there'll be probably different news on now, but I've had to pause the screen. Week cases risen per 10,000, and popular by local immunity, October 8th, 14th. It says at the top 200, 150 plus 199, underneath 100 plus 149, underneath there 50, 999, underneath there 25, 49, 9029. So you got the lighter purples, the darker, the middle purples. The graphic spread of England's coronavirus is on this side. It's got one thing on this side. Next one is a bit more different. You've got the greener, darker, browner, whiter spread. The pinker ones on that side. Rating changed 100 population by local between 1st of October and the 7th of October and the 8th of October 14th. So, what do you guys and girls think? Is it getting worse in the UK? So it seems like it. Well, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales have got their own problems. But we're going to be moving on to the next news, which just been showed, and I've just missed out a couple of bits of the news. So, what have I missed out so far? It's good you can actually rewind the things you missed out so people can understand what the news is. Okay, there we go. I found it. And what I've just said to everybody on here is all the numbers of the coronavirus. You've got 21,331, 241 new cases, plus 43,969 deaths. So these are the two main cases. These are just people that catch them, the 21,331. Very sad news for all people. We all thought this spread would slow down, and it's talking about adding events. Now I am waiting to reach a deal with failed or something. I don't know, some kind of deal. I don't know what deal they're talking about. But we're going to be having a look at the other news. We have Bigby speaking Boris Johnson's speech here as he's talking, and we're going to be playing a bit of that as well. So give me 1 second, guys and girls, while I just unplug my headphones so you can hear what's being said about Boris Johnson's speech. You know, unplug this microphone. I've had to rewind it, or I do apologise, but I had to be at the right moment of watching this. So unplug this, and
across the world.
Yes, that's right, Mark. Andy Burnham, who I actually witnessed giving a similar speech last week when Greater Manchester was fighting with the government to agree terms. Passionate then and very passionate today as he stood flanked by other regional leaders saying why he could not support this deal, why the talks had broken down, accusing the Prime Minister of being the one to walk away. And a couple
people
of
in Manchester have been lying under restrictions for 3 months, and has taken a heavy toll.
Poker with people's lives for not giving them the support he says that they need. And he also said,
this is Bigby speaking.
Pandemic by grinding people down. We need to carry them with us, not crush their spirit. Now, in material terms, the amount of money they couldn't agree on was actually about £5 million. But Andy Burnham was clear that £65 million of additional support was the minimum that he needed. Not enough, apparently. Anyway, we've got the press conference now.
I'm just going to interrupt you there. Boris Johnson is about to speak.
I'm joined by the Prioress of NHS England and Jonathan Van Tam, Deputy Chief Medical Officer. Across the world, the countries that are waging the most successful fights against coronavirus are adopting regional and local measures to protect their populations. And that's why last week we launched the 3 local COVID alert levels for England, with interventions based on the prevalence of the virus in local areas. Since then, we've been undertaking discussions with local leaders in those parts of the country which are currently bearing the brunt of the second wave of this epidemic. And before I update you on those discussions, I will ask Jonathan Van Tam to brief us on the latest data nationally and in Greater Manchester. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Prime Minister. First slide, please. So I'm beginning today's data briefing with a slide which I showed on the 12th of October, and I'm doing that on purpose. First of all, to remind you that there are 2 maps of England here. The one on the left in purple shows the weekly case rates per 100,000, and the one on the right in brown shows the rate of change per 100,000 population, all by local authority area level. And the darker colours indicate higher rates of disease or higher rates of change. And you'll see that these geographic maps are current for the week 30th of September to the 6th of October. And if you quickly look at those shadings, we'll now turn to the second slide, which is the 8th of October to the 14th of October. And you can clearly see that that dark purple confluent problem area has extended from coast to coast now and extends quite a long way down the country. In contrast, the rate of change is more variable, and there are more patches of green indicating a negative rate of change, as much as there are new patches of dark brown, such as in Lincolnshire. Next slide, please. And there's a similar picture for those aged 60 and above. Again, these are the old geographic maps that I showed you 8 days ago, and changing to the new graph now, you can see that the purple areas have increased, and there are some new areas of increased rate of change in the over 60s. And I really want to emphasise that it is the over 60s that really worries us most, because these are the people who become severely ill with COVID-19. They are more likely to be admitted to hospital. If they are admitted to hospital, they stay in hospital for longer, and sadly they are more difficult to save. Next slide, please. So here are the data broken down by age band and by English region, beginning with the North East, the North West, Yorkshire and Humber. And really, each of these subplots is a contrasting game of 2 halves, in as much that the 10 to 19 and 20 to 29 age group, you can see that the weekly case rate has declined on all of those traces. Now, this may be partly ascertainment. It may relate to the rate at which people are coming forwards for testing, which is now flat, because the rate of swab positivity continues to increase. But the other half of the coin, if you like, are the older age groups from 30 to 39 through to 80 plus. And here you can see over time this continuing increase in case rates. And this really shows us now that the infections which have seeded in the younger age groups are now penetrating those older age groups as we go forwards in time. And these are cases. This means that the hospital admissions and the deaths, sadly, that are linked to those cases are now baked in for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Next slide, please. These are the same graphs again, but this time for the East Midlands, for London and the West Midlands. You can again see, particularly in the East Midlands and related to Nottingham particularly, that drop in the 10 to 19s and 20 to 29s, but the continuing increase in case rates in the other ages. Next slide, please. And the same is true of East of England, South East and South West, but at much, much lower overall levels of disease than we are currently seeing in the north of England. Next slide, please. Now again, I'm referring back to the heat maps that I showed you on the 12th of October, showing that gradual warming up of disease rates in the 16 to 29s that then creeps through into the older age groups with a few weeks lag as we move through the age bands as we go up each of the blocks. That's the visual snapshot from the 12th of October. I'll now move to the new snapshot. And I think it's pretty stark. I think you can see very clearly now from these data that are just a week on how those heat maps have increased very markedly, not just in the northeast, not just in the northwest, but also in the East Midlands, top left, and in Yorkshire and Humber, bottom right. This is most concerning because it's the penetration of disease into the older